Developing the Leader Within podcast, leading beyond limits.
Welcome back, everyone. If you haven't subscribed, please do so right now, as it will help getting our show to others and help us get to our next milestone. Make sure to catch us streaming on Roku and Amazon Fire TV on the Purpose Place Network, and catch our exclusive members-only content Going Deeper Within on the Lions Guide Academy. And today we are speaking with John McCabe and Ava Baichi. John is a succession and transformation architect that works with CEOs, boards, and CHROs to design leadership systems that go beyond development. They drive performance, succession continuity, and cultural alignment across the enterprise. And Ava is a business administration student at Northeastern University and co-author with John of the Dual ROI Redefining Performance at the Intersection of Profit and Purpose. John and Ava, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Enrique. It's great to be here.
Yes, I am so excited to meet with you guys today.
Well, we're excited to have you both with us. And I'll tell you, folks, this is the first time we've had two guests on the screen at the same time, but we're going to have a great conversation, and we're going to be speaking about the Dual ROI Revolution. Why companies that invest in people win. And before we get into that, I'm going to hand it over to you, John and Ava. Tell us quickly a little bit about you that the public may not know.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time. Appreciate our connection and always staying in touch and really walking in the same path together. Through your work in change management, as well as your corporate teaching and training, and your review of the book so far has been greatly appreciated. And your words do mean a lot. And your leadership and guidance in the field, not just domestically, but internationally as well, have helped thousands of people exceed past their general expectations. So thank you for that. About myself, at my core, I truly have always been obsessed with one question. And what is that question? And that is, why do some organizations scale sustainably and others stall and others simply just fail out? So what does that look like? My background spans operational leadership, Lean Six Sigma, Master Black Belt training and implementation, as well as high performance coaching, building transformational platforms inside organizations that were growing faster than their systems could keep up. So that led to the creation of taking a step back and saying, what do we truly need to implement in a struggling organization, or even an organization that is performing well currently, so that when the time comes for them to pivot, or an organization that needs to pivot radically and drastically, these dual ROI platform fits in and understands it's not just about expounding on a balance sheet, right? You can't just take balance sheets and say, we're going to only invest in the return on the investment to have that go and scale alone. You have to go and scale the culture aspect as well. So through that combination of the return on the investment and return on the investment through the individual is where we are at today. One of the things, and why we had Ava here, is that I had an internship bringing on interns, and I had a mass call off for interns. And why I selected Ava and what stood out through the lengthy interview process was not just what she delivered on a general resume and her paperwork, but in our conversation, she had that special something that went above and beyond. She was an outlier and an outside of the box thinker, and understood that her perspective, and what really made me select her, was that we both came to the agreement that it would be grossly naive for me to write this book from a single perspective of what I only know. So I had to go and tap into future leaders like Ava that are and understand what they're currently learning and how they're going to implement what they're learning in the new workspace, so that she could help me not only write the book in a current fashion, but in a future state as well.
Hi, my name is Ava Baichi. I am a second year student studying finance at Northeastern University. And I just wanted to start off by saying how thankful I am to be here today. And I'm grateful for this opportunity and so ready to just dive in head first. I've been a dancer all my life, and through my experience and leadership within dance, I learned how a strong community and cultural values really drives impactful, positive results. So, through this, I brought this mindset into my professional development at my sales and marketing internship at Residence Inn, where I found that creating meaningful client connections and relationships is crucial in order to drive positive sales and create profit. Through my collaboration with Mr. McCabe, I am able to refine these skills that I learned through my professional experiences and create meaningful impacts for a broader audience and really offer a unique perspective as a student. I am so excited to really curate my brand image through this process and offer my unique perspectives in order to create a meaningful impact for a broader community.
Outstanding. Now, John, you introduced the concept of dual ROI, return on investment and return on the individual. Why do leaders need to embrace this dual lens now more than ever?
So right now we're operating in, as everyone knows, it's a turbulent economy. The marketplace is tough, and everyone is competing for every last dollar, right? So traditionally, and even in a lot of sectors and cross verticals today, most of the CFOs and CHROs are looking at the ROI only, right? The return on the investment portion only. But you're missing half the portion of the equation, right? What is the return on the individual? So you cannot just operate in a silo anymore, right? So by the alignment of bringing the return on the investment from the CFO side and coupling that with the alignment from the CHRO side, return on the individual, they are allowed to work together and saying we are developing individuals who can contribute not only to the bottom line for sustainable long-term growth, but share that return across various departments, sectors, and global aspects throughout their firm. Because fundamentally, Abe and I have a philosophy that says this: you can't blame good people who are put into sorry, you can't blame good people for producing poor results when they are put into a broken system, right? So you have to go in and fix the underlying system first, and that is where the return on the individual comes in, and then the ROI will fix itself and take care of itself for the long term.
Now, Ava, many organizations still measure success primarily in financial terms. So, how can leaders begin shifting the mindset toward capability, culture, and resilience without losing sight of profit?
I truly believe that true financial performance comes from the internal operations within. And that strong group think ability is just the catalyst for even more financial performance. So to do this, you can use a combination of a top-down and a bottom-down approach. So when leaders prioritize culture, when the CEO really prioritizes having those values within the company, that creates better culture within teams and promotes collaboration and efficiency, ultimately leading to higher performing people within the organization that ultimately enables higher financial performance. And as John was saying, you can't just measure financial performance on a balance sheet, on an income statement. You have to look at the entire company as a whole, and strengthening that engine that produces profit is the main catalyst in order to really exceed expectations and become the best version of the company that you possibly can. And this positive work culture really gives workers an incentive to increase efficiency, improving communication skills, efficient collaboration, and leveraging diverse perspectives and skills in order to strengthen those internal factors that will naturally produce more profit with that increased efficiency. Just for a little example, as a college student, we do a bunch of group projects. And every group project I've been a part of that has a strong, collaborative, diverse work culture, we always end up doing better on the grade. And that can be seen and translated into a company concept. When you have a strong culture within the company and a strong foundation of workers, you're naturally going to make profit.
Absolutely. Now, John, the book highlights the CFO CHRO alliance as critical to scaling performance. What does an effective partnership between finance and people leadership look like in practice?
That's a great question, Enrique, because a lot of times there's a tension that's created between always trying to save money from the CFO side and then the CHRO side. The CFO will always say, well, you're just trying to spend money on culture creation, and there's no real tangible tie back to the CFO, right? They're always looking for that. What is that specific number or driver, and how can we justify the spend? So what needs to happen is the walls need to come down and have a true conversation and say, I understand that while we're going to measure the outcome differently. The outcome is yes, there's going to be a distinct and marked increase on the ROI with bottom line and top line growth. But how we're going to get there and measure it is going to be significantly different than how we've done it in the past. We're going to spend money on cultures and the culture initiatives that are not just a transformation initiative, because we've done this 100 times. It's like painting a white wall, different color, and everyone's going, oh, okay, this again. But we're going to make it a true journey, right? A true transformational engine that will start from the very beginning and bring all the teams on board and walk them through that entire process to make them feel engaged. And over time, you're going to see the trust factor be implemented throughout the organization, but the most effective way. And that effective way is teams sharing with other teams. There's the silent leaders communicating with other silent leaders that this is a new and worthwhile endeavor to invest your time in, not just a mandatory training. You have to click the button to complete and to ensure your goals are satisfied for the year.
Amazing. Now, Ava, you talk about moving from culture decks to culture engines. Can you explain how leaders can operationalize values in a way that drives measurable performance?
So we all know the term actions speak louder than words, and I think that can really be applied to this, what we're talking about here. With culture decks, that's a presentation, but culture engines, that is showing a shift into turn company values into measurable behaviors that can be implemented in daily operations that will ultimately improve performance. So culture decks are really something that you decorate, while culture engines is something that is a measurable impact. So to do this, we should define clear values and what that looks like in the work environment, whether that be behaviors that are coachable in order to see real results that can actually be evaluated, really showing what are these values that we have and what actions can we take in order to actually see a change in these values and really implement that into the workplace. So it's more so rather than just saying this is our value, actually showing what behavior we can enact in order to put that action into reality. Next, we can embed these actual behaviors into our work systems. And whether that be with promotion criteria, onboarding, performance reviews, these are all things that will incentivize workers to really create that shift and create that change rather than just something that's shown on paper. And lastly, we can measure these values and retain high value employees who actually encompass the company values and drive culture and performance rather than just saying, these are our values, actually putting them into measurable actions that can really evaluate high performance and promote efficiency and a culture and focused work environment. This really goes into what I was talking about previously with that internal factors that can really build and increase profit by showing how turning our ideas into a reality can ultimately really improve profit from working from the bottom up in order to create meaningful change.
Absolutely. Now, John, for leaders listening who feel overwhelmed by transformation, what's the first small step they can take to implement the dual ROI approach in their own organizations?
That's a great question. It's a really critical and introspective answer it's a raw answer that they must reach into themselves and give, right? So they have to ask and understand, where is performance breaking down because the people responsible don't have the tools, clarity, and or capacity they need. Truly answer those questions, right? And then start with a small team, a workflow, or one recurring major or minor pain point. Definitely understand the ROI side. What is the biggest impact there? What is the impact on the return on the individual? So you're going to solve for both portions, the individual and the ROI, the human impact. Is it a skills gap? Is it unclear expectations? Is it a leadership bottleneck? Is it burnout? And then compare and contrast all of those. Do your 5 whys, break that down in a DMAIC fashion, and then from that, come to a clear and defined understanding that will implement and solve for your problem.
That's very powerful and something that every leader needs to consider as they are helping folks navigate not only their way in through the company, but through those teams. Now, what do you guys have coming up, and where can the viewer or the listener follow you and support you?
So we're finishing up the first draft of the book. Will be done on Saturday, this coming Saturday. For all your viewers, we're going to give them a special discount if they decide to pre-order the book. We'll put that link in the chat for the podcast, and we will do a drawing of one of your viewers and send them special gifts along with the book as well. Complimentary. You don't have to buy it if they are chosen. The other thing we are really interested in is keeping in alignment with yourself and understanding that just because we have different companies and we're trying to solve different problems doesn't mean we can't come together and solve a major problem collectively, right? And that's what I think we're doing here, Enrique, is that we operate in such close proximity to each other with our same objectives. It's a very special time. Our paths crossed many times, and we're very, very, very grateful that we have this opportunity. And we just want to see the world become a better place. And for all of our CFO friends out there and CHRO friends out there and all the board members, please remember this. By laying people off, you're losing the initial investment and continued investment you already made in them. Truly take the time to sit down and upskill employees and find out where their talents are best served within your organization, because you don't want to pay 3 or 4 times the amount to bring someone new on that you've already invested in your current employee. There's no faster way to kill morale than that.
As a Northeastern student, I'm going on co-op next semester, and what I've learned from working with Mr. McCabe on this project is substantially more than anything I've learned in any class, because it's real hands-on experience that is just showing me how connections with people and creating a positive company culture and values can now be implemented into my future business endeavors, which is really immeasurable in value. I am just so honored and grateful to be here. Right now, we're really just focusing on really advertising and marketing this book in order to get as much traction as possible to really improve not only my knowledge, but create meaningful actual change in an issue that really matters. So overall, I'm just excited to bring the knowledge I've learned here from all these different perspectives into my future work.
Well, folks, you heard it. Get that dual ROI revolution. Why companies that invest in people win. Great book. I happen to have the opportunity to write a little something for it, and I know John and Ava are going to be successful. Now, today's episode is sponsored by the Global Trends magazine, the Outlier Project, Fantail Services, Ascend Meditations, and Chop AI. And if you've enjoyed this episode and learned something interesting about the topic covered today, make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and let us know by leaving a comment. Tune in next week for another episode where we dissect leadership from another angle. And as we like to end the show, success to you.